What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be going over my 2021 NFL playoff predictions. So the first game I'm going to be talking about is the Ravens versus the Titans. I have the Ravens winning this one. I think that the Ravens running game will be able to uh, defeat the Titans defense, especially their run defense in particular. Um, Obviously last year when they played in the playoffs, a big reason why the Titans were able to beat the Ravens was that they were able to shut down the read option Lamar Jackson run game. And I think that the Titans defense is much worse this year. So I think that the Ravens will be able to get the better of them on that side of the ball. And then on defense, I think that the Ravens run defense is good enough to, at the very least, slow down Derrick Henry. Obviously, you're not going to neutralize Derrick Henry completely because he's Derrick Henry. But I think that the Ravens will be able to make him not just completely dominate the game. And when you do that against the Titans, Ryan Tannehill, their quarterback, relies a lot on play action. So a weaker run game means that there's going to be a weaker play action game, and that'll slow down Tannehill. So I do have the Ravens winning this one. Next up is the Browns at the Steelers. And then in this game, I'm going to have the Steelers winning. And this is actually pretty similar to how I see the Titans and the Browns. I think that the Steelers are going to be able to shut down the Browns' run game a little bit. Obviously, the Browns have maybe the best running game in the league with the great offensive line, Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb. But the Steelers also have a really good run defense. And then Baker, similar to Tannehill, relies a lot on play action. And so, worse run game, worse play action game, more traditional dropbacks, and difficult reads for Baker to make, which he is not the best at. And then on the offensive side of the ball for the Steelers, I think that the quick hitting style that they use is a good way to counter the pass rush for the Browns, which is probably their strength on defense. So I have the Steelers winning this one. Next up, we have the Colts at the Bills, and I have the Bills winning this one, although this is a game that I could definitely see going either way. I think that the Colts match up pretty well with the Bills, in that the Bills rely a lot on deep passing game. They like to have those big explosive plays, and the Colts are good at taking away those deep shots, which will slow down the Bills' offense a little bit. But that being said, the Bills' offense is still really good. They have a solid run game. They have Josh Allen, who's, though he thrives on the deep passes, he's still pretty efficient in the short to intermediate game. And then for the Colts offense, I think that if they do manage to get the run game going and they manage to take a lead and Josh Allen makes some mistakes maybe because he doesn't have the deep ball open, that's a scenario where I do see the Colts winning. But the Colts offense is pretty weak in general. Philip Rivers is not a very good quarterback, so I don't see him out-shooting Josh Allen anyway. So I do have the Bills winning this one. Now switching over to the NFC, we have the Buccaneers against the Washington football team. And I think this one's pretty obvious. The Buccaneers are going to win this. They just completely outclassed the football team in pretty much every department. The one thing that I think Washington may have going for them in this game is their pass rush. Brady is obviously not the most mobile, so having a good pass rush, Montez Sweat, Daron Payne, Chase Young, that could slow down Tom Brady a little bit, but I still don't think that the rest of the Washington defense is incredible. And then obviously the Washington offense is just miserable, and the Buccaneers defense is great. So even if it's somehow close, I really don't see a scenario where the football team could possibly win this. Then the next game we have the Rams versus the Seahawks. Now, the thing with this game is that we don't know who the quarterback for the Rams is going to be just yet. Jared Goff also obviously has that injury with his wrist, so not a guarantee whether he plays this game. Either way, though, I do have the Seahawks winning. The Seahawks D, obviously they started off horribly. One of the worst pass defenses in NFL history in the first 6 or 7 weeks or something. But it's been pretty good since then. It's actually been very good. On every facet of the defense, it's been solid. And And then I just don't trust the Rams to score that many points against the defense like that. They have a solid running game. Jared Goff's okay. John Wolford is obviously not okay. um, and then even though the Seahawks offense, has been lackluster recently, ever since they got away from the let Russ cook thing, they're going back to their old style with pounding the ball into the ground and then just kind of controlling the ball, controlling the clock. So I do see this game being close in the fourth quarter, but at that point, I trust Russell Wilson to outscore John Wolford or Jared Goff. So I have the Seahawks winning this game. And then the last game in the wild card round is Bears versus the Saints. This one's also pretty obvious. I think the Bears, like the football team, are not necessarily a deserving playoff team. The Saints are definitely a deserving playoff team. They're very good this year. And most of the problems for the Bears stem from the quarterback position. So I know Trubisky, at the end of the season, has really turned it up a notch from the rest of his career. He's played pretty well, other than last week against the Packers, which is who I think he is as a quarterback going into the future. And that's who I think he's going to be against the Saints. I don't see Trubisky being able to carry this offense like he's going to need to be able to do against the Saints. The Saints defense is pretty good, so that's going to be a tough matchup for him. And then the Saints offense isn't incredible, although I will say Drew Brees really was clicking last week against the Panthers, which the Panthers have a okay defense. It's young, they make mistakes, but they're all right. And he played pretty well without some of his top weapons at receiver and without Alvin Kamara, obviously, which is a big hit. I think he's probably going to be playing next week, but you never know. Either way, though, I'm going to have the Saints. I think they just completely outclass the Bears. Now in the divisional round, first game in the AFC we have is the Steelers against the Bills. I have the Bills winning this game. The Steelers are a pretty similar team to the Colts in terms of defense first, pretty solid at limiting big plays in the Steelers' case, then kind of a weaker offense. So I do see this game going similarly to the Colts game. Josh Allen might struggle a little bit again. He didn't play amazing when these two teams matched up a few weeks ago, so I could see that having no deep passing game, or not no deep passing game, but a defense that takes away the deep passing game better is an obstacle for him, obviously. But then again, Steelers' offense is not that good. They've been struggling a lot these last 5 or 6 weeks, 7 weeks. So I have the Bills winning this one. Then the next game is Ravens versus Steelers. I have Ravens versus Chiefs. And I have the Chiefs winning this one. The thing that you kind of need to be able to do to beat the Chiefs on the defensive side of the ball is just like how you stop the Bills. Be able to stop those big plays. Don't let Tyreek Hill, Mecole Hardman get free over the top of the field, over the top of the defense, rather. And don't let Patrick Mahomes kill you that way. Make him work in this short passing game and be conservative. And the Ravens don't really do that very well. They're pretty weak at the safety position. So I can see that being an issue with their defense, which is one of the main reasons. It's the main reason why I don't think they're going to win this game. The other one is that the Chiefs, if they do get out in front early, which I'll talk about later if I think that's going to happen or not, but if they did do that, the Ravens simply don't have the passing game to be able to come back from a deficit, which is a big obstacle for them to win playoff games. However, there is, I think, a pretty good chance that the Ravens win this if they jump out to a lead early, which I think is pretty likely, because the Chiefs, especially Patrick Mahomes and some of their other starters, have not played since Week 16, and they had a bye week in the wildcard week, so that's 2 weeks off for an offense that was kind of struggling anyway, and an offense that has a history of starting slow and making mistakes early and falling behind. But with a team like the Ravens, they have such a good run game that they might be able to chew out the clock and have control of the ball, keep the ball out of Patrick Mahomes' hands, which is definitely a good way to win. That being said, I think even if that does happen, there's a good chance Mahomes can fight back because he's Mahomes. So I have the Chiefs winning this one. Moving over to the NFC now, we have the Seahawks versus the Saints. I have the Seahawks winning this one. I see it going similarly to the Rams game. I think the defense is going to be able to keep the Seahawks in this game. And then I think the offense is going to have the same struggles that they've been having the last couple weeks. This is the style of football that the Seahawks want to play. It's going to be a close game in the fourth quarter. And in this case, again, Russell Wilson, I trust 100% of the time to outscore Drew Brees in a shootout. Drew Brees, just at his age, can't really throw the ball downfield all that effectively. So I have the Seahawks winning this one, again, late in the fourth quarter, due to Russell Wilson's ability to stretch the field and outscore someone late in the game. Then the last game in the divisional round is going to be Buccaneers versus Packers. If this matchup happens, I would be so excited. This would be one of the best matchups, or most interesting to see what happens kind of matchup in the entire playoffs this year. That being because the Buccaneers, of course, destroyed the Packers earlier this year. And really, this time around, I see it going no differently. I don't know why it would. The way that the Buccaneers beat the Packers when they did play was pressure. They pressured Aaron Rodgers a ton, and that completely shut the Packers down. Maybe they'll adjust, but the pressure won't be going away because Dave Bakhtiari is injured, and then the Bucs just have an incredible pass rush. So the pressure's still going to be there. It's going to be up to the Packers to be able to adjust. The other thing that I want to talk about is on the Packers defense and the Buccaneers receiving core. The Packers really have only one. The Packers have obviously a great corner in Jair Alexander. After that, their corners aren't very good, so they really can only shut down one great receiver if they're playing against a team like the Bucs, who have 2 or 3 elite receivers, depending on if Mike Evans is playing or what your opinion of Chris Godwin is, or Antonio Brown rather, excuse me. Anyways, they have 3 great receivers. Packers are only going to be able to shut down one of them, and so I think that's going to be a pretty effective way for the Buccaneers to be able to move the ball. So I have the Buccaneers winning this one. I'm pretty positive. I don't really see a way the Packers could win. Now on to the championship games. In the AFC, we have the Bills and the Chiefs. And this game is like such a coin flip to me. These teams are so similar. Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes are so similar. Their defenses are both about the same caliber. The Chiefs have more weapons on offense, but the Bills' defense, I would say, is a little bit better. So these teams are so evenly matched. I really don't know. I don't know how I would pick who's going to win this game. I am going to say the Chiefs are going to win because they've been doing it for longer. Patrick Mahomes is more of a known entity than Josh Allen is, and they have more weapons on offense. So I guess I'm going to pick the Chiefs to win this one. It could really go either way. It comes down to which team makes more mistakes, I think. So I'm just going to be picking the Chiefs, but this one could really go either way. And the championship game in the NFC is the Buccaneers and the Seahawks. I don't really love the Seahawks in the playoffs. I think that the Buccaneers are definitely built to beat them. They outmatch them in every single category. Again, I think the Seahawks defense could give the Buccaneers offense some trouble, but the only difference here is that in the end, I don't know if Russell Wilson's going to be able to score all that much when the Seahawks let Russ cook. I don't think that he's going to be able to score super effectively against the Buccaneers defense, which is really good. So I have the Buccaneers winning this one. So now on to the Super Bowl, where I have the Chiefs going against the Buccaneers. Patrick Mahomes versus Tom Brady rematch from the AFC Championship, I think 2 years ago. And in this game, I have the Chiefs winning. I just think that in a scenario like this, with how or what stage Brady's at in his career, I don't think he's going to be able to keep up with Mahomes in a shootout, which I think this game will be a shootout. Again, there's always there's the piece to the Chiefs where if there's a bunch of mistakes, Mahomes still has a bunch of turnovers or whatever, or that whole thing where he drops back way too far, gets sacked, that kills drives. Mahomes makes mistakes, but I think that in a game like this, the Chiefs are gonna be fully ready. Their offense is gonna be clicking on all cylinders, and Tom Brady and the Bucs just won't be able to keep up. So that was my 2021 playoff predictions. This is the final bracket. I hope you guys enjoyed, and thank you for watching.